beautiful evening in Freetown. Welcome to News Hour tonight. I am Aminata Fofana. Coming up, Saudi Arabia pledges deeper ties with Sierra Leone. Aberdeen Beach becomes eyesore with seaweed and plastic waste. And Sierra Leone Teachers Union pushes for better conditions of service. The stories and more coming up tonight. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, Sierra Leone ties with Saudi Arabia are deepening. Ambassador Saud Al Musaid says the kingdom is backing major new projects in Freetown, including new Freetown hospitals, student scholarships, and stronger trade on the way. Here is an excerpt of the statement.
Sierra Leone's ties with Saudi Arabia are deepening. Ambassador Saud Al Musaid says the kingdom is backing major new projects here in Freetown. Chief among them, the proposed Riyadh Referral Hospital, a 150-bed facility worth more than $50 million, is now in the planning stage. The ambassador says trade and investment are next, with talks underway for a joint Saudi-Sierra Leone Business Council covering agriculture, mining, and energy. On education, 95 Sierra Leonean students received Saudi scholarships this academic year, with more expected, and faith ties remain strong. Over 2,600 Sierra Leonean pilgrims performed Hajj this year, with Ambassador Al Musaid joining Vice President Jallo at their farewell. The ambassador says the goal now is simple: turn growing friendship into lasting partnership.
Aberdeen Beach, one of Sierra Leone's popular coastal attractions, is increasingly becoming an eyesore with seaweed and different forms of waste washing ashore, from plastic bottles to boxes and other debris. The condition of the shoreline is raising concerns among residents, businesses, and tourists. Stella Bangura picks up the story.
Here at the Aberdeen Beach, what should be one of Sierra Leone's most beautiful coastal attractions is today facing a serious environmental challenge. Behind me are plastic bottles and debris being washed in from the sea onto the shoreline. The question now remains to authorities: what more can we do as a country to protect these beaches from becoming overwhelmed with waste?
What should be a beautiful coastline welcoming both Sierra Leoneans and tourists is instead presenting an unpleasant sight. At Aberdeen Beach, seaweed and debris are scattered along the shoreline, with plastic bottles, discarded footwear, boxes, and other waste washed in by the sea. The accumulation of waste not only affects the appearance of the beach, but also raises questions about environmental responsibility and the impact on tourism. For restaurants and businesses operating along the beach, the condition of the shoreline can directly affect the experience of visitors.
Because any year they come, seaweed, every year they come.
The seaweed comes to the shoreline every year. Sometimes, we the beach bar owners clean the beach. Some customers may want to sit and watch the sea, but the unpleasant smell and sight makes us lose them during the rainy season.
Customer ne bosi senso, customer ne bukanshi do, enso customer ne posto bien back of the beach bar for see the view of the water and sea.
Beyond the immediate impact on businesses, tourism stakeholders say keeping Sierra Leone's beaches clean requires more than periodic cleanup exercises. Planning and Development Officer, National Tourist Board, Mohamed Ba, called for a change in attitude towards waste disposal, particularly among people who dump rubbish into drains, waterways, and the sea.
This is one of our biggest challenge. Awareness raising. We have done this in communities, on radios, TV, social media, but it keeps coming up again because the reason is we lack attitudinal change. You see, because this, you can see these are plastic rubbers, slippers, rubbers with palm oil, hospital equipment that are washed up again. These are things that we deposit in our gutters, in our rivers and estuaries. So this thing come up again to the sea, and when the sea sees it, just bring it back. It's something that don't go anywhere. It comes back. This is why we have been doing these press releases, going on radios, explaining to people, just keep your rubbish waste at home, work with Freetown City Councils. But another problem we have again is the lack of monitoring in our communities.
While some of the debris may be carried onto the shore by ocean currents, environmental responsibility also begins on land. Plastic bottles, packaging, and other waste discarded in streets and waterways can eventually find their way into the sea, contributing to the pollution now visible along the coastline. Even with dustbins stationed along the beach, some remain unemptied, while others have little or no dirt inside. For a country that continues to promote its beaches as tourist attractions, the state of Aberdeen Beach presents a challenge that cannot be ignored. A cleaner coastline will not only improve the experience for tourists and residents, but also protect marine life, support businesses, and preserve Sierra Leone's natural beauty. The call, therefore, is for collective responsibility from authorities and businesses to residents and beachgoers to ensure that Aberdeen Beach does not remain an ugly reflection of how society treats its environment. Reporting for SLBC, Stella Bangura.
In an interview with the Regional Secretary of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, SLTU Fode Kouyaté, has claimed that government is yet to pay last academic year's third-term school subsidies. He said it was in 2022 they last had an agreement with government to discuss better conditions of service for teachers. Stella Bangura again.
After they last negotiated with government in 2022, in line with a collective bargaining agreement, both parties had agreed to meet, discuss, and negotiate on salary increment and better conditions of service for teachers after every 3 years.
According to the collective bargaining agreement, after every 3 years we go through negotiations. Since 2022, we have exhausted the 3 years. And because of that, we have written a letter to the Secretary of the Teaching Service Commission that we want to start negotiations with government this September. The Teaching Service Commission, through the Secretary, has responded to our letter and he has referred us to the wages and compensation commission.
As they await a response from the chairman of the Wages and Compensation Commission, Mr. Kouyaté highlighted among many concerns, including disparity in salary payments of teachers and other government workers whom he said have been paid thousands of leones.
As I speak to you today, teachers in Sierra Leone are the least paid within the sub-regions in West Africa. We are the least paid. 90% of our teachers in Sierra Leone are not receiving up to $100 a month. Because when you talk about a trained and qualified teacher that has a bachelor's degree, that has a master's degree, a good number of them are not receiving $2,000 a month. And when we compare those teachers with workers of government that work at our parastatals, our commissions, some of them are paid $30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 new loans, and in old loans, when it was 60,000, it's almost 60 million. Look at the salary disparity.
He continued that government since 2018 has not been paying school fee subsidies on time, and even at that, the money being given by government as school subsidies are small. For primary school, he stated that government only pays 10 leones per child for a term.
It was only in 2018 when His Excellency came out to the free quality education that they gave school fee subsidies on time. After 2018 to date, government has always been delaying in the prompt payment of school fee subsidies, and that undermines the free quality education.
He described the primary school fee subsidies as inadequate and that the subsidies generally are insufficient to operate schools, thereby undermining the free quality education.
One government pays to our schools a school fee subsidy is too small. For example, for junior secondary school, they give 50 loans per child per term. For senior secondary school, they give 60 loans per child per term. And for the primary school, it's 10 loans. Let me emphasize 10 leon per child per term. If I have a child going to school, I will not, most parents don't give 10 leons even for lunch. It's the primary school fees subsidies is grossly inadequate.
This situation is similar to that of the last decision made by the union in 2025 to stage a nationwide strike, but was cancelled because government had promised to address their concerns. The last increment was done by 45%, but as according to Mr. Kuyate, most teachers receive less than 2,000 leones, and that does not match the cost of living in the country, as sometimes their salaries are exhausted within 2 weeks. Reporting for SLBC, Stella Bangura.
Forum for Islamic Organizations and Peaceful Coexistence Sierra Leone held a grand observance of Maulid Nabi, the birth of Prophet Muhammad, at the family kingdom in Aberdeen, Freetown. The event featured Islamic organizations, religious leaders, government representatives, and hundreds of worshippers for prayers and reflections on the life and teachings of the Prophet. Yusuf Mosiri Suma reports.
Speakers at the gathering emphasized on unity, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. Imams and scholars urged Muslims to emulate the Prophet's character of compassion, honesty, and service to humanity, which serves as an excellent example. They also called on Sierra Leoneans of all faith to continue living together in harmony and to reject violence and division, as he reaffirmed government's commitment on the regulation of religious scholars from both the Christianity and Islamic faith. Deputy Minister of Social Welfare Alhaji Mohammed Haji Kela thanked the Interreligious Council and other Islamic organizations for upholding the fought to peace. He urged Muslims and other faith to show mercy to each other and called on clerics to continue preaching peace in their various mosques and churches in Sierra Leone.
And today, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The Prophet is a model of peace, unity, and social cohesion. As imams and scholars, you have a great role to play in promoting peace in Sierra Leone. Prophet facilitated the unity of divided communities throughout his lifetime.
We actually want to replace that generation from blood feuds to brotherhood and mutual respect.
The General Secretary, Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone, Reverend Dr. Usman Jesse Fona, urged religious leaders to uphold in peace, religious tolerance, and be bridge builders while continue preaching messages of unity instead of divisions in the country.
As Interreligious Council, our example should be unity, where Christians and Muslims work together, so our nation will work in peace.
When Christians and Muslims work together, we nation will.
Guest
The Rotaract Club of Mount Orel has handed over a rehabilitated maternal ward and toilet facilities to the Aberdeen Seacoach Community Hospital in Freetown. The project is aimed at improving the hospital environment and providing better and more comfortable facilities for mothers receiving care at the hospital. Alwyn Roy Fox reports.
The project includes the rehabilitation of the hospital's maternal ward, toilet facilities and other essential items, with the aim of creating a safe, clean and more conducive environment for mothers, newborns and healthcare workers. The project demonstrates commitment to creating lasting impact in communities through practical interventions that address some of the challenges faced by vulnerable groups. President of the Rotaract Club of Mount Orel, Doreen Sophia Samuels, said the project is in line with the focus of Rotary International, particularly its commitment to supporting communities and improving healthcare services.
It's part of the Rotary's mandate or project, and it's very disheartening to see a community like this do not have a toilet facility, or rather poor toilet facility, and then we have poor maternal wards. And we saw it fit as young youths of Rotaract Club of Mount Orel to do the necessary to create impact in others, in the motherhood, in the mother care, in the childhood and lives of women and children.
She also expressed gratitude to the hospital management and members of the club who contributed in one way or another towards the successful completion of the project. Management of the community hospital welcomed the intervention, noting that the rehabilitated facilities and donated items will contribute to improving the conditions under which patients receive care and healthcare workers perform their duties.
Pray that whatever thing or whatever work you are doing in your offices, let God elevate you guys so that you will have the same enthusiasm to do a very good job. And even the donations that you guys have come to donate to us, so that God will bless you and bless your work and even your organization. God help you, and I say a very big thank you to the OT family.
The project marks another milestone in the club's community service efforts and its commitment to creating lasting impact through healthcare and community development initiatives. Reporting for SLBC, Alwyn Roy Fox.
Vive la Rotary, vive la Rotary, truth is our right, love is our might. Vive la Rotary.
The National Revenue Authority (NIA) has ushered in a new chapter of leadership following the handover of the Commissioner Generalship from outgone Commissioner General Geneba Bangura to the newly appointed Commissioner General Abu Martin Kene. The handover ceremony held in Freetown marked the transition of leadership at one of Sierra Leone's most critical institutions responsible for domestic revenue mobilization and administration. Jonathan Turner tells us more.
23 to August 2026.
As part of the transition, the outgone Commissioner General, Geneba Bangura, presented a comprehensive 32-page handing-over report to the incoming Commissioner General. The report highlights key accomplishments during her tenure, covering revenue collection, compliance enhancement, policy implementation, administrative reforms, governance, and international engagement. Reflecting on the NIA's performance during her tenure, she highlighted significant growth in domestic revenue mobilization. According to the outgone Commissioner General, revenue collection increased from approximately 7 billion in 2022 to 18.3 billion in 2025, representing more than a doubling of revenue mobilization. She also pointed to an increase in the revenue to GDP ratio from 7.2% in 2022 to 10.3% in 2025, describing the progress as a significant achievement in the country's revenue administration. However, Bangura acknowledged that the progress came with several challenges, including vulnerabilities in revenue collection systems, staff integrity concerns, smuggling, negative public perception, and inadequate office space. On revenue operations, Bangua disclosed that the NRA had acquired about 5,000 electronic cash register ECR machines
that we have acquired, but of those 5,000, only 3,030 has been received. So where the public thinks that we have 10,000 machines, we only have 3,000 machines. Of the 10, only 3,000 machines are at hand, and I know that the team will work to.
For his part, the incoming Commissioner General, Abu Martin Kane, welcomed the transition and said he will rely on Geneva's expertise and experience as he assumes responsibility for leading the authority.
My existence of the National Revenue Authority is felt, and one way that can happen is when we raise the required revenue and if possible surpass that one. But I'm saying you are going today, but you're not going forever. I know, just like how you know how you can reach DCG2, where and how to reach you at every given time. So going away, don't worry, we have to be called upon severally for your expertise, your experience, your guidance.
The leadership transition also saw a farewell to Deputy Commissioner General 2, Gerald Ganda, who also served the NRA for approximately 23 years, including 3 years as Deputy Commissioner General 2. The NRA also welcomed Edwin Nuni as the incoming Deputy Commissioner General 2. The transition comes as the NRA seeks to consolidate revenue mobilization gains, strengthen institutional integrity, modernize revenue administration, and address challenges affecting public confidence in the authority. The new leadership is expected to build on the ongoing reform agenda while implementing measures outlined in the outgone Commissioner General's handing over report. For SLBC News, Jonathan Sona reporting.
That was the newly appointed Commissioner General Abu Martin Kane. Now, China has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening its long-standing friendship with Sierra Leone as the two countries mark 55 years of diplomatic relations. Speaking at the Chinese Embassy's Media Open Day in Freetown, Ambassador Zhao Yong said bilateral cooperation continues to grow across trade, health, education, politics, and people to do exchanges. Emmanuel Samora tells us more.
The Chinese Embassy's Media Open Day brought journalists together to deepen media understanding of China-Sierra Leone relations and address what the embassy describes as misinformation and misconceptions about China's development and its engagement with Africa. For AYV journalist Marius Musa Kagbo, the experience was personal. Once a strong critic of China's development model, Kagbo says his perspective changed after visiting China.
So I have a question about China. But when I arrived, I began to see that China development story is far more complex than simple narrative we sometimes hear. China is not just about skyscrapers. It's not just about high-speed trains. It's not just about technology, roads, and bridges. China is a story of people, planning, discipline, patience, innovation, and long-term vision.
Star Television journalist George Elliott Sam says exposure to Chinese cultural heritage also gave him a deeper appreciation of the historical ties between China and Africa.
I had the opportunity to explore China's rich heritage while sharing light about Africa's diverse culture. These events not only celebrate our shared future, but also emphasize the importance of youth engagement in building sustainable partnership.
For Ambassador Zhao Yong, trade remains a major driver of the relationship. He says in 2025, Sierra Leone's exports to China grew by more than 40%, while trade increased by nearly 38% in the first half of 2026, with discussions continuing to expand Sierra Leonean export of palm oil, coffee, and cocoa to the Chinese market. He also highlighted efforts to make travel between the two countries easier, including visa facilitation and expanded payment and banking services for Sierra Leonean visitors to China. As 2026 is observed as the China-Africa Year of People-to-People Exchanges, Ambassador Zhao Yong is urging the media to play a greater role in telling the story of the relationship.
Be the witness to the real China. We strongly encourage you to record the real China through your camera and present the true stories of practical China-Sierra Leone cooperation to the people of Sierra Leone. Second, be the communicators of friendship between our two peoples. Relations between countries are ultimately about the relations between their peoples.
China and Sierra Leone established diplomatic relations in 1971. 55 years on, both countries say the anniversary is an opportunity to celebrate decades of friendship while exploring new areas of cooperation. Emmanuel Samoa, SRBC.
The Public Accounts Committee has expressed satisfaction with the Bo Municipal Council for exceeding its own source revenue targets by over 17% in 2024. This was brought to the fore during the conclusion of hearings by the committee with local councils in the east and south of the country. As Dennis Fraser reports, the council also made an appeal to government to enable it to broaden its revenue base to other areas in the district.
Although according to the 2024 audit report, shortfall in own-source revenue generation has been the order of the day across local councils in the east and south of the country, both city councils stood out tall in changing the narrative. The council exceeded its projected target of over 7 million units to over 9 million units, amounting to 17% increase in 2024. Notwithstanding, this did not prevent the Public Accounts Committee from using the phrase "to whom much is given, much is expected" in admonishing the council.
You guys were able to implement what we recommended. The more reason why you were able to surpass the target. So we are also encouraging you to continue doing that and also to set realistic targets.
In response, the Chief Administrator of Bo City Council, Henry Powell, appealed for the tax base of the council to be broadened to other areas of the district as a way of strengthening revenue generation.
We engaged the chairman of the district council to see the need for us to do this expansion. But I think he has started giving it a thought. I'm pretty sure we'll get there because it's a continuous engagement. And when that is done, as I promised the honorable members, the Bo City Council will generate more than the 9 million that was announced.
However, the situation was different for both districts and both municipal towns. Apart from not meeting their own source revenue targets, the area had series of issues on financial accountability, especially for expending funds without supporting documents. Responding to the audit queries, the Chief Administrator of both City Council, Augustine Sam, blamed the financial misnomer on his predecessor, who is understood to be retired from active service.
So you are not imposed when the target was set?
No, sir.
What effort did you make to make sure that you meet the target that was set by your predecessor?
Well, we've had a series of meetings with stakeholders on how to boost the own source revenue. We are still on that. We are really fabricated.
You are the highest political body over there. So if you're talking about politicians interfering, would you, as council, manage the welfare of people, catering for their development, and yet they challenge you?
The committee later ruled that both the outgone and current chief administrators should appear before it at a later date. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
Forum for Islamic Organizations for Peaceful Coexistence, Sierra Leone, has held a grand observance of Maulid un-Nabi, the birth of Prophet Muhammad, at the Family Kingdom in Aberdeen. The event featured Islamic organizations, religious leaders, government representatives, and hundreds of worshippers for prayers, recitations, and reflections on the life and teachings of the Prophet. Yusuf Musiri Suma has the details.
Speakers at the gathering emphasized on unity, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. Imams and scholars urge Muslims to emulate the Prophet's character of compassion, honesty, and service to humanity, which serves as an excellent example. They also called on Sierra Leoneans of all faith to continue living together in harmony and to reject violence and division, as he reaffirmed government commitment on the regulation of religious scholars from both the Christianity and Islamic faith. Deputy Minister of Social Welfare Alhaji Mohammed Haji Kela thanked the Interreligious Council and other Islamic organizations for upholding the fought to peace. He urged Muslims and other faiths to show mercy to each other and called on clerics to continue preaching peace in their various mosques and churches in Sierra Leone.
And today, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The Prophet is a model of peace, unity, and social cohesion. As imams and scholars, you have a great role to play in promoting peace in Sierra Leone. Prophet facilitated the unity of divided communities throughout his lifetime.
We actually want to replace that generation from blood feuds to brotherhood and mutual respect.
The General Secretary, Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone, Reverend Dr. Usman Jesse Fona, urged religious leaders to uphold in peace, religious tolerance, and be bridge builders while continue preaching messages of unity instead of divisions in the country.
As Interreligious Council, our example should be unity, where Christians and Muslims work together, so our nation will work in peace.
When Christians and Muslims work together, our nation will work in peace.
Guest speaker Dr. Ibrahim Saliu Kamara spoke on leadership, which he said a leader is not only the imam or pastor, but whoever leads must give an account to Allah. He called on Muslims to follow the models and practices of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose actions speak to his modesty and kindness.
Follow the deeds of the Prophet and you will see peace, unity, development and progress, and that is the genesis to be spiritual. Also, let's practice peace at home. If there is no peace at home, we will not expect peace in the community.
If there is no peace in the home, we expect peace in the community.
Government officials, local leaders, and the international community who attended the events commended the organizers for using the occasion to preach peace, leadership, and social cohesion. For SLBC News in Freetown, Yusuf Musiri Suma.
You're watching News Hour live from the SLBC, and it's now time for our sports updates.
It's the sporting updates that keeps you in the know, and thank you so much for your time. In today's edition, we are taking you to the approved schooled playing field in the east end of Freetown, where Cantonians community have secured their spot in the round of 32 after a 1-0 victory over City Road community. Well, it was a truly remarkable moment for Umaru Sise, whose decisive goal was the difference maker in that particular match. Let's join Halimami Conte for details.
Both teams entered the encounter with different objectives. City Road community needed at least a draw to cement their chances of progressing, while Canitonians community, already on 6 points, were looking to maintain their winning run and finish the group stage strongly. The opening half was highly contested, with both teams creating clear opportunities to take the lead. Canitonians, however, dominated the midfield, displaying composure, skill and creativity as they controlled much of the play. City Road remained resilient and the first half ended goalless. Immediately after the interval, Canitonians found the breakthrough. In the 49th minute, Alassane Koroma produced a brilliant move inside the City Road penalty area before delivering a well-placed cross, which Umar Sisse expertly finished into the left-hand corner to give Canitonians the lead. Canitonians continued to push for a second and nearly doubled their advantage when Alassane Koroma came close to scoring, but City Road defender Abdulrazak Conte, known as Piol, produced a brilliant goal line block to prevent the ball from finding the back of the net. City Road community responded in the later stages, asking questions of the Canitonian defense in search of an equalizer. They came close when the ball fell to Abdulrazak Conte, but the defender failed to capitalize on the opportunity as Canitonians held on to their narrow advantage. After the final whistle, Alassane Koroma of City Road community was awarded the man of the match, and he expressed his appreciation to the fans for their unwavering support.
Well, the expectation, with the hope for now, we like how the go to the result. So the goals are more and more and more because we fans need more victory from we because they spend a lot and always they give the money to we because for now we get a victory all the time.
Meanwhile, City Road Community Technical Director Mr. Safia Henry reflected on his side's performance, saying the team showed great strength and determination, but was disappointed with the results.
I would tell them some courage, not football, so it's not easy. We don't prepare, everybody don't come, don't put your sweat, everybody come, we can get winning. Because fans are winning the ones. But for the time we will get winning, we talk to the fans and let them patient, don't play, say Kisi will come and can win that game day.
The victory means Canitonian community advanced to the round of 32 with maximum 9 points from 3 matches. City Road community, meanwhile, remain on 4 points and must now await the outcome of the match between Kolatri community and Kisi community to determine their fate in the competition. For SLBC, Alimami Conte reporting.
In another development, a leading sports betting company in Sierra Leone, Mercury International, has officially unveiled its end-of-year sports and Vegas raffle draws. Well, life-changing opportunities for raffle lovers in Sierra Leone. The unveiling ceremony of the end-of-year raffle draw took place at the View of Gigi Bonta, drawing a major turnout of media representatives, company executives and stakeholders. The launch comes at a time when sports betting continues to serve as an important financial lifeline for many locals. The promotional run, scheduled from August 24, 2026 to January 3, 2027, focuses heavily on high utility prices, including commercial tricycles, motorcycles, and housing, aimed at providing long-term economic stability for winning participants. Managing Director Martin Edmond Michael addressed attendees on the need and the importance of the raffle. Among the wide range of opportunities available for ordinary citizens to win.
We not come and do the things they are or pretend to the nation, say we did them things here away when we not did them. They're absolutely real. We don't buy the car, we don't buy the keke, we don't buy everything. The house, we don't pay 50% for the house. Next month, we pay the other 50%. By the end of September, all that prices there would have been paid, and hopefully we go down collect them, and we go find way or put them on show so that people go see.
Key staff members for Mercury International detailed the timeline of the draw and confirming other many benefits customers will have. Through this initiative, Mercury International aims to directly support poverty reduction and improve the livelihoods of ordinary citizens across the country. Abdul Kabir, SLBC News, Freetown. And that ends your update, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Many thanks to the sports team. And with that, we wrap the news tonight. But before we go, here is a recap of the main points. The Saudi Arabia ambassador to Sierra Leone, Ambassador Saud Al Musaid, has said the kingdom would be backing on major new projects in Freetown, including construction of new Freetown Hospital, student scholarships, and stronger trade on the way. Seaweed and different forms of waste have been washed ashore at Aberdeen Beach. The condition of the shoreline has raised concerns among residents, businesses, and tourists. And the regional secretary of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, SLTU, Fode Kouyaté, has claimed that government is yet to pay last academic year's third-term school subsidies. He called on the authorities to adhere to their call. That's all we can share with you tonight. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.